Hi, I'm Jay Warren, and welcome back to Piecing It Together. The City of Arlington is facing a challenging fiscal year 2026. Throughout the next several months, we'll be providing a high-level look at the economic and situational factors that are shaping this year's budget. Now, as a part of our Piecing It Together series, we're taking a closer look at how the city funds its operations and why money from one area can't simply be moved to another when the times get tough. Arlington's operating budget is made up of 8 separate funds, each with its own revenue sources as well as legally defined uses. Most people are familiar with the general fund. It pays for core services like police, fire, parks, and libraries. But the general fund is just one part of a much larger operating budget. Arlington's budget includes 8 different funds, as I mentioned, and each one operates like its own separate account. That's because the money going into these funds often comes with strings attached, defined by state law, voter approval, or federal regulations. Some funds, like the Water and Sewer Fund and the Stormwater Utility Fund, are paid through monthly fees and are used to maintain those systems, while funds like the Parks Performance and Aviation Funds are intended with the goal of helping offset operating costs of facilities in those departments. The Debt Service Fund is funded by a portion of property taxes and can only be used to repay voter-approved bonds for things like recreation centers, streets, and libraries. The Street Maintenance Fund is funded by a voter-approved quarter-cent sales tax. It can only be used to repair and maintain existing streets and sidewalks, not to build new ones. The Convention and Event Services Fund is fueled by hotel occupancy taxes, stadium naming rights, and event revenues. By state law, it can only support tourism, arts, and hospitality-related services like the Arlington Convention Center and Expo Center. So when the general fund faces a shortfall, like we're seeing right now, the city can't simply dip into other funds to cover the gap. They're legally and financially distinct, each acting a specific piece of a bigger puzzle. That's why responsible financial planning and public understanding are so important as we continue piecing it together. Now, you can learn more about next year's budgeting process and follow the Piecing It Together series at arlingtontx.gov/2026budget.